On the 18th of March, the USCIS suspended all in-person services. And on the 19th of March, the State Department issued a level 4 warning to advise everybody not to travel international. On March 20th, the USCIS announced the immediate and temporary suspension of premium processing for L1s, H1Bs, and I-140s. On the US Embassy, effective on March 20th, also suspended interviews in an effort to slow the spread of the COVID-19 until May 3rd. And then the big topic that we have that has happened with all of these recent changes is that the State Department issued a statement on March 26 that all medical professionals, particularly those working to combat COVID-19, should contact their nearest US Embassy to request a visa appointment. If you're a medical professional and have an approved I-140 or other immigration petition, you should contact the US Embassy or consulate nearest to you to schedule a visa appointment as soon as possible. There was some confusion on this statement, and the State Department clarified it on March 28th, saying that only RNs with an approved EB3 petition and a priority date of January 1st, 2017 or earlier will qualify for this provision. So as we can see, there's been a lot of changes. There was obviously a lot of confusion, a lot of rampant speculation. So I think let's maybe just start off, if you each want to just kind of give a comment of what we've seen in the last few weeks, and then we can get to the questions. I have a lot of questions. People have sent me a lot confidentially and the Fora Forum, and also Fora Forum before we forget to thank you for giving us this opportunity. Louise, Jean, Paul, we really, and all the Lafora admins, thank you for giving us the opportunity. To the panel, so can you maybe comment on what we've seen so far, your thoughts, input?
Tanya, I have, while I have had a number of nurses attempt to get the visa, we're seeing challenges probably because a lot of the embassies and consulates are either shut down or they're trying to limit to items for U.S. citizens and or permanent residents. And so that's one thing. Second thing is we've seen some inconsistent adjudication out of both the U.S. Department of State, who runs the embassies, and the Customs and Border Patrol, CBP, which run the airports coming into the United States. And the issue there seems to be that some nurses who have a valid I-551, which is the immigrant visa, are being told at the airport that that is not considered permanent residency. And it's a real subtle point in the law, but I know, well, we're trying to work on getting clarification to the Department of State that those with I-551 visa stamps should be admitted into the United States. But I do know that there have been some nurses who've been turned down. That's sort of another issue. I have, on the other hand, heard of some nurses in the Gulf countries, UAE, and the places, the Abu Dhabi and Dubai, where those visas have been issued, even if the nurse hasn't gone through the NVC process. It hasn't happened to me personally, but this is an immigration attorney friend of mine has told me that he has had 2 nurses actually just pay their NVC fee bill at the embassy. So, we're seeing this being rolled out, even though it's being rolled out somewhat inconsistently. My guess is over the next week or 2, we'll probably start to see some consistency. And so if the nurses do want to come to the United States and they can, and the embassy is open and they can secure air flights, all of which are obviously in very fluid situations right now, I think that the nurses will be able to come over. If they want to. It's obviously a scary time and people may want to stay home for another few weeks. But the good news, I think, is the Department of State is starting to hear the message, and they are starting to put prioritization programs, inconsistently, mind you, but they are starting to put prioritization programs for healthcare workers, of which nurses make up the largest segment of that.
Yeah. Carl, Jacob, are you seeing the same as Chris? Any other additional comments to add to that?
I just No, I think that was excellent what Chris said. But it is a changing landscape. I mean, the government agencies, like every couple of days, put out another memo online. So what I've been trying to do in the last few weeks is I establish an immigration update page for the coronavirus. And when I see the government agencies, whether it's USCIS, State Department, whatever, even if it's an article in the newspaper. So we actually have a subsection on doctors and nurses and what different organizations are advocating as far as speeding up the process for them to come to the U.S. So I'm trying to keep myself and our doctors and nurse clients up to date with that.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Carl.
we did the same thing. We're trying to keep people updated with the resource center, but what Chris said basically summarizes what's happening. There's a lot of inconsistency. If the embassies are not open, people are trying to do something. There's a lot of information from clients who are applying and getting results, and then others are trying to do the same thing and they're not getting it. So I think probably, like you said, in the next couple of weeks, we'll know more. But I do feel that embassies are trying to give priority to healthcare workers. And so, we need to push that more for sure.
Okay. So it seems like everybody is seeing the same picture. There are a lot of inconsistencies. There's still a lot of confusion. We will keep you updated as this picture evolves. I think we actually even had one nurse, her family member, contacted the NBC about another query, and the officer actually told this family member that the nurse should go ahead and try and expedite their case, and contact send their documents to the NBC expedite@state.gov. But this nurse didn't even have a current priority date. So, I think at some of the embassies, there is confusion as well. And hopefully we will see that being clarified and a clearer picture emerge.